Straight all day.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is the biggest lie that we tell ourselves. What is that biggest lie that we tell ourselves? I'm going to get into that here today. But before we get into that, let me tell everybody that I have a daily motivation text message that I send out free of charge to everyone who is in my text community. This message is guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. If you would like to receive this message, which you should, since you're already listening to my show, you might as well be getting my daily motivation message. All you gotta do is text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every day when I send out the daily motivation, since you're in my text community, and only because of that, you'll be receiving that message. So that number is listed down below in the show notes as well. And also, the other thing I'll tell you before we get into today's topic is that I have a free training for anyone here who is interested in increasing your business revenue. You want to make more money in your business without you having to work harder or somehow get lucky, but you want to do this in a systematic, process-driven way, because those of you who are familiar with my work, and if you're not, you will get familiar with my work. I'm all about process and systems. I'm all about things that we can do over and over and over again and do them systematically to where we can predict our inputs, we can duplicate our processes, and then we know exactly what results we're going to get. If that sounds like I'm speaking your language, then go to workonyourgame.net. I have a training there that's completely for free. It's about 45 minutes long, so I am going to ask you for your time. Schedule out 45 minutes, go to workonyourgame.net, and you can watch that training completely for free right now. And at the end of it, I will tell you how you can schedule a time to actually hop on a call with me. We can talk about implementing that into your specific business. Now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the topic, which is the biggest lie that we tell ourselves. I actually don't even have too much lead up into this topic. We can get right into it because I'm going to tell you what it is and we get into point number one. So let's do it. Point number one. Topic once again is the biggest lie that we tell ourselves. Here it is. I will quote. Biggest lie we say is that I already know everything I need to do. I just need to either, here are the options that people say. I just need to do it. I already know what I need to do. I just need to do it. Or I just need to work hard or harder. Or I just need to believe in myself, or I just need to be more fill in the blank, whatever adjective. I just need to be more focused. I just need to be more disciplined. I just need to be more, what's the word? Consistent. I just need to be more, do more, work harder. I just need to execute. These are the things that people say. I already know everything I need to do. I just need to do these things that you already have, these simple ideas that you already have in mind. Close quote. All right, that's the biggest lie that we tell ourselves. Now, some of you may be perplexed right now because some of you have been saying this to yourself, that you already know everything that you need to do. You just need to, as soon as you do this thing, you activate this one piece that you have not been activating. You're holding yourself accountable for that. Everything else is going to work out. This is false. I hear this so often, too often actually, from people who tell me what their problem is and that they've had this problem for an extended period of time. Let's say if you had a problem for like more than 6 months, more than 90 days, we could even say 3 months. You had a problem for more than 90 days and you think the solution is you just need to either just do the thing or work hard or believe in yourself or be more disciplined, consistent, focused, etc. If you believe that this is actually the issue, here's my news flash for you. If you had the same problem for, we'll just say 6 months. We'll be generous and say 6 months. If you had a problem for more than 6 months, you doing more of what you already know about. Even the things that you haven't done but you know about them, you just doing more of what you already know about is not the solution to your problem. If you had a problem for more than 6 months, everything that you already know is not the solution to the problem. Because why would you sit around and just allow a problem to fester in your life if you already know the solution to the problem. You would just solve the problem and just do the thing. Because none of these things that people say, none of these is a resource issue. It's not like you have a problem that you can't solve because you don't have the money, or you have a problem that you can't solve because you don't know enough people, or you have a problem that you can't solve because you are ignorant and you are just missing some information. Because none of this is about information, money, or people. None of these is tangible. None of these is about some kind of tangible resource. These are all things that are completely within your power. You just have not executed on them. And this is a lie that you tell yourself, because this is the way that we tell ourselves, okay, well, I can solve this problem whenever I get around to it, or whenever I feel like it. But the issue is, these will not solve your problem. Doing these things will not solve your problem. And we're going to get into more of that as we go further into this episode. So here's the news flash. You had the same problem for more than 6 months. Doing things that you already have stuck in your brain is not going to solve the issue. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to keep talking about this, but I'm going to keep saying it as long as people keep doing it. If these here's the thing that I'm talking about. If these quantitative changes are really all that you need in your life, career, business, etc., if these are all that you really need in order to be successful, then you would have done them already. If this is all you needed, then you would have already done them. I talked about this in episode number 2228 and 2229 when I talked about quantitative and qualitative changes. Quantitative changes are usually not the solution to your issue. Once you get above a certain level of competence, you don't just need quantitative change in order to do what you want to do. Now, when you're let's say I have a child, right? I have a child who's, as of this recording, about 8 weeks of age. Now, he needs quantitative changes. He needs to get, he's going to grow taller, he's going to get smarter, he's going to get better with understanding and using words, and his neck muscles will get stronger so he can hold his head up more, his leg muscles get stronger so he can stand up, and his whole body will get stronger so he can crawl, and then he can stand, and then he can walk. Those are all quantitative changes. He just needs to get more, better at things, more, better, harder at things. You, if you're 28 or you're 37 or you're 52, all right, quantitative change is not what you need, because you would have already made quantitative changes. I mean, you already know about them. Why not do them? Since you're aware of them, what's stopping you from executing? Now, again, the thing that people say that sounds so neat and perfect is, oh, well, I just haven't pushed myself. I'm not holding myself accountable. I'm not doing what I need to do. These all sound really good. All right, if I just push myself, if I just get focused, if I just hold myself more accountable, if I just be more disciplined, I'll do all the stuff that I haven't been doing, and then everything's going to work out perfectly. All right, what is keeping people from where they want to be is the subconscious understanding, and this is the part that you may or may not be aware of, because it's subconscious, that you're going to need more than that to solve your issue. You may consciously understand it and you're just lying to yourself, or you may subconsciously understand this and so you couldn't explain it to yourself because your subconscious isn't talking to your conscious right now. You're going to need more than this to solve the issue. I'm telling you that, okay? What happens is many people consciously lie to themselves about what it's really going to take to solve their problem. The good news is that in this case, your subconscious mind is not allowing your conscious mind to lie. That's why you haven't actually done the thing that you say you could so simply solve. You could so simply solve your problem by just doing this. The reason why you're not doing it, even though it sounds so simple, is because you know subconsciously, even if you can't consciously explain it, it's going to take a little bit more than that. Your subconscious mind knows better, even if your conscious mind is lying to you. The lie, when I say the lie you're telling yourself, this is your conscious mind lying to you. Your subconscious is not lying. Your conscious mind is lying. Those are the thoughts that you can control. And that's why you're telling yourself some nonsense. But let's solve this problem here. I'm not just going to leave you there. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is the biggest lie we tell. Point number 2. This could technically not be a lie for some of you. For some of you, this is actually not a lie that you're telling yourself. It's just an untruth that you are foolishly believing on a continuous basis. You're not lying. You're not trying to deceive yourself. You just have believed something that's not true. And you keep believing it because maybe you have not given yourself any alternatives. But that's why I'm here, and that's why this episode exists. See, the reason that you keep telling yourself and believing in something that's not true is because it buys you time. This is one of the reasons that people lie to themselves, because it buys them time. A lot of times people don't do the things that they could do that would create success for them because it's going to require you to go through a little bit of pain. It's going to require you to do some things that may be a little bit uncomfortable for you. They're going to take you out of your comfort zone, And even though, we all logically understand on the other side of our comfort zone is the change and success that we want. The challenge for many of us is just the lizard brain that we have inside of us. It prevents us from doing things to take us out of our comfort zone. That's why it's called the comfort zone, because it's comfortable. So outside of the comfort zone, you're doing things that are not comfortable. And many people are unwilling to push themselves to do things that are not comfortable. And this is why many people get to a certain point in life, usually by early adulthood, and they pretty much stay the same person, because to change will require you doing something that is uncomfortable. This is why I keep telling people, you need to get yourself a coach. You need to get yourself a trainer. You need to get yourself someone who will push you outside of what you are used to doing, because if you don't get that person, you are not going to be willing. And often, just as human beings, we are not wired to be able to push ourselves past our zone of comfort. This is how I can so comfortably state that most people never change. Not because they don't want to change, and not because they can't change, it's because the comfort zone won't allow you to change. This is just wiring of human beings, folks. I'm not condemning you personally. This is just how we're wired as human beings. And this is why all high achievers have coaches. All high achievers have people around them who will push them outside of their comfort zones. And this is why high achievers are high achievers, because to achieve at a higher level, they are not just predestined to achieve at a higher level, that they were not just born that this way they're going to achieve at a higher level. Is because they are willing to do things that the people who are not high achievers won't do. They're willing to push themselves outside of their comfort zones, or allow themselves to be pushed, is a better way of putting it, outside of their comfort zones. Everybody following me so far? So it buys you time to tell you the lie that you keep believing, that, oh, I can just flip the switch at any time and just do these couple simple things and everything's going to work out. If you keep telling yourself that the only difference between where you are and where you want to be is these few things that you can easily do at any moment, and you fully understand 100% of it, then here's the thing that happens, is that you always have the option in your back pocket of actually doing them and getting success. So I could just get success whenever I feel like. As soon as I push this button, I'll get it. You don't need to do. Here's what this absolves you of. Here are the responsibilities you are absolved of when you believe this lie. You don't need to do anything different. You don't need to change any of your long-standing beliefs. You don't need to get help from anyone outside of yourself. And all you got to do is just decide when and where you're actually going to activate these things and just become successful, because you already know everything. But again, if that was the case, why are you delaying your own success? Why would you do that? Here's the answer to that question. It's a trick question because you can't answer the question. The reason why you can't answer that question is because that's not the only thing that you need. You can't just at any moment, again, if everything you needed to be successful was all you needed to do was not do anything different, don't change any of your beliefs, don't change any of the way that you approach or operate your life right now. You don't need any help from outside of yourself. You can just decide. You can just snap your fingers on next Tuesday, just decide, you know what? I'm gonna just be successful now. And you just do all the things that you already know exactly what to do and exactly how to do it, and everything's just gonna work out. But why didn't you just do it last Tuesday? Because there's more to it than that. Now again, you may consciously understand this, your subconscious absolutely understands it, and it may have communicated this to your conscious so far, maybe it didn't, but the reason why I'm talking about it here today is to make it conscious for everybody. Because you're hearing my voice, now it's conscious to you because now you're thinking about it, if you're listening to me. Moving on to point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is the biggest lie we tell ourselves. The difference between 1x and 10x in life, when I'm talking about creating success, is what we call insight. I discussed insight in episode 1177. And the title is Insight, the key to going from 1x to 10x. 1x to 10x insight, when I say that, I mean going from, if you can get $1 worth of effort, and instead, by asking yourself a different question and coming with a different approach, instead of getting $1 worth of effort for your time, you get $10 worth of effort. Now, you didn't put in more time, and you didn't necessarily get smarter or better. You just use a different approach, and now you're getting 10 times the results. That's what insight does. And that's the difference between where you are and where you want to be. It's insight. It's not work harder. It is not get more focused. It is not get more disciplined. It is not be more accountable to yourself. Now, let me be clear that all of those things may be part of the equation, but those are not the actual, that's not the meat and potatoes of it. Meat and potatoes is the insight. See, the insight is a set of, or maybe even one, question that has not occurred to you yet, the kind of questions that would lead to breakthroughs in the form of qualitative change. In other words, the opposite of quantitative. Quantitative is doing more, better, harder, faster. Qualitative change is a different approach and a different mindset. A qualitative change is the kind of change that will actually get you the results that you want. And it's harder for people to change their beliefs and the way that they think and the way that you've been conditioned to, your brain has been wired and conditioned to operate. It's harder to change that than it is to change your actions, actually, because when you change your mindset, the actions come with it. That's why we have be, do, have in that order. You change your mindset, that's the being. Change your actions, that's the doing. Change your results, that's the having. In that order. So it's easy to change what you have by changing your mindset. So you want to get different outcomes, change your mindset. You want to take different actions, change your mindset. Don't try to force the change. Don't try to force your actions to change. Change your mindset, and actions, the change in actions will come with it. You follow me? These insights usually come from somewhere outside of your own mind and outside of the ideas and beliefs that you showed up with today. Because again, if you already had a different mindset, you'd already be doing different stuff. You get what I'm saying here? So again, if you're not doing the things that you need to be doing, it's not just a matter of, I just need to do these things. Again, the process is be, do, have. Not do, have. Be, do, have. So since you're not doing the things that you need to be doing, anyone who has said that, and you go through my text messages, I have a bunch of people, I've had hundreds of people, when I ask them, what's your biggest challenge? They tell me what the challenge is. I say, okay, well, why is this a challenge? Because they mentioned something that is just in this neat little package that they could easily solve. I mean, based on what they said. Well, I'm just not working hard enough. I'm just not disciplined enough. I'm not focusing enough. I say, okay, well, why? Why don't you just fix that? Why don't you just do it? And they come up with some answer, some neat little package answer. The reason why is not because you just need to do it. Again, if it was really that simple, why not? Why you had this problem? Really? All right, the real problem is not that. The real problem is your mindset. Is the underlying mindset that is leading to the action or the inaction that is leading to you not having the result that you want. Now, I hope I'm not losing anybody here. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. This is why the smartest people in the world, whoever you consider smart, by your definition, smartest people in the world borrow the brains of other people. That's what makes them so smart. They're not smart just because their brain is so advanced. It's because they borrow everybody else's brain. So they look smart. They take the credit for borrowing other people's brains, mixing it with what they think, and then they look like geniuses because they're borrowing the brains of everybody else. Yes, they are smart on their own. Yes, but that doesn't mean they have to do everything on their own. Doesn't mean they have to think up everything on their own. Doesn't mean every idea has to come from their own mind. Smartest people understand they can conserve energy, resources, by borrowing other people's minds, thoughts, attention, focus, and energy. They borrow other people's resources, utilize them for their own benefits, and then everybody benefits from it. They borrow the intelligence of other people. And this is what I've been suggesting I keep talking about this, and I will continue talking about it forever. You need to borrow the intelligence of other people. Borrow the insights and the mindsets of other people, because that's where all the opportunity is at. With that said, let's recap today's class, which is the biggest lie we tell ourselves, which is, number one, I already know everything I need to do. I just need to actually do it. That's usually some form of do it. They talk about something that you need to do. This is a false idea and a false belief, and many people fully believe this. And I hear it so often because that's how I know so many people believe it. Here's the news flash. If you have had the same problem for more than 6 months, you doing more of what you already know, or doing what you already know if you haven't been doing it at all, is not going to solve your problem. Your problem is not in the actions. The problem is something else. What's stopping you is the subconscious understanding that you know there's more to it. Either you are lying to yourself actively because you know that's not the issue, or you're telling yourself an untruth because you're not even aware of what the actual issue is. Point number two, as I just said, this may not be a lie for some of you, just an untruth that you are foolishly believing. And the reason you keep telling yourself and believing these lies is because it buys you time. It buys you time, and it gives you an excuse to not do anything. You keep telling yourself the only difference between where you are and where you want to be is a few things that you need to do that you already know 100% of, then it doesn't make sense to me why you're not doing it. Because if you really ask yourself that question, then you might not feel too good about yourself. But again, if this was really the case, that's not the case. But if it was, why would you be delaying your own success? The answer is you need more than that. Point number three. Difference between 1x and 10x insight, as I talked about in episode 1177. Insight is a question or a series of questions that have not yet occurred to you, the kind of questions that would lead to breakthrough in the form of qualitative change. That's the kind of change you actually need to get to result. Insights usually come from somewhere outside of yourself. This is why the smartest people borrow the resources of other people and then they just take the credit for it. This is what all successful people do. I do it. You should be doing it as well. And this is not in a negative way. If you buy somebody's book and they give you great ideas in the book, you take the ideas from the book, go apply it and create success. There's nothing negative from that. All right, that person helped you. You gave them what they wanted, they gave you what you wanted, everybody wins. This is what the smartest people do. So stop trying to do everything on your own. Stop telling yourself the lie that all you need to do is just push these couple of buttons that you're fully aware of where the buttons are, but you're just not pushing them and you're not at the success that you want to get to. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even add up. So stop telling yourself that. If you have been telling yourself that, hopefully I've given you some insights and helped you uncover that you need something more than what you've been telling yourself. And let's get serious about creating the success that you want. And 2 things for you to do. Number 1, text me to get my daily motivation for free every day to your phone. My number is 305-384-6894. And go to workonyourgame.net. Get access to my free training, how to increase your income in business without the 5 steps to increase your income easily without running yourself into the ground, even if you feel like you're doing everything you can right now. That's at workonyourgame.net. Work on your game. Dre all day.